Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Holy smackers,
go.
folks.
We got
We're
stuff.
sorry. It's been a hiatus. We
It
weren't
has.
even on vacation. We were on hiatus for 3 weeks since the last time we did a show, George.
I thought I was out there doing research. I traveled a third of the way around this country to find out about food, people, and baseball.
I was going to say, wait, food? I thought you forgot the number one thing that starts with a B.
bourbon.
Bourbon, see?
You know, and it's just the bourbon kind of bit me. I didn't know that was going to happen like that, but that was a very nice part of the trip.
A very nice part of the trip, the bourbon. You never know what you're going to hear on the sports wrap.
Between Louisville and Lexington, and goes through Frankfort, which is the capital seat of Kentucky. They call it the Bourbon Trail.
Okay.
And there are just so many masterful Kentucky bourbon whiskeys. Now, there's a difference between Kentucky bourbon and Tennessee bourbon. Tennessee bourbon is made mostly from wheat and rye and that sort of thing. Kentucky bourbon is made out of corn. And there is a distinct difference. However, the enjoyment quality, boy, I'll tell you, they're awfully good.
It's all the same, I guess, in the end. So
Yeah, it's a good, enjoyable trip.
Let's talk a little bit about sports.
We can do that.
I want to talk about what you said this morning on our radio show. You talked about a pitcher who throws right and left-handed.
No, the kid, we
From Mississippi State.
Yeah, we saw Tennessee, and which has a very good hard-hitting baseball team, play Mississippi State, the Bulldogs, and this is SEC. These people are serious. The stands were full. It was a raucous college baseball thing. But the next day, Mississippi State came out with a kid that could throw both right and left hand at the college level, and he was able to achieve 92 miles an hour with his opposite hand or whatever the other one, and 97 with that. You know, so 92 and 97 miles an hour. Now, I didn't see him play. He played the next night. They were playing a triple
three-game
series,
Yep.
and but everybody was talking about him. I could hear him in the stands, and everybody's just saying, you know, no, this. But the guy is is quite good. So anytime that you get a chance to see Mississippi State, you take a look, because they might have. He's got a special glove that has 6 fingers. So when he pulls his finger up, and I can see that would be a distinct advantage over the hitter.
Yeah, and is it legal to switch on during at bats? I would assume so. It's not like a batter where you're limited. And
he's got a glove that it fits in both hands, and then he grabs the one and pulls his hand out and let fly, and with both arms.
Huh?
Ambidextrous. He says, I'm not truly ambidextrous. I throw 97 with one and 92 with the other.
Poor soul. You
Yeah.
can only throw 92 with the bad arm. That's
whatever
horrid.
it is. Yeah.
Well, as you can tell, we're outside.
Isn't this
This is the first day of summer as far as I'm concerned, because it's yesterday was pretty nice too.
When I was down visiting Kentucky, one of our fans said you shot your show from, it looked like the backyard of South Chicago, and I says, because the train was going by or some such, and he says, what did they do? Did they throw you out of the bar? And I says, no, nothing like that. They can't do that. But this guy was originally from Brainerd, and they went to school. My wife and he and they all, a bunch of people went to St. John's and St. Ben's.
I know that hurts you.
Well, no, it does. Just, St. John's, football and all.
So where do you want to? Where should we start? What sport? Where you want to go? How shall we progress? Because I feel like we're out of the loop. There's so many things that we didn't talk about that we missed while we were gone.
Well, one of the things that I've watched the last couple of games, at least most of the game, is between Los Angeles and Golden State.
Yeah, all right.
And last night, Curry was just unconscious the fourth quarter and just absolutely couldn't miss. These 30-footers, and they come out of nowhere. There's no way that
flick of the wrist.
Oh, it's just. And so the Lakers are going to have to win this next game, but I think that's tomorrow night.
I believe it's tomorrow night. Yeah, I think if it goes to a game, I already jinxed the Warriors once when I said I was watching ESPN last week as they were going into Game 3, and ESPN or Fox or whichever one of them was saying, "Geez, can the Lakers win Game 3?" And I'm like, "No, there ain't no chance. This thing's over in 5."
Yeah.
Well, it's not over in 5, and it's going to have to go 7.
The old man's there, and they have some injuries, and they got one of their superstars down. So we'll see what happens. But the other game that I've caught that's, this is winter rules basketball this time of year, and I'm talking about Philadelphia and the Boston Celtics. They are jam, bam, and hamming, doing just about everything.
Good series.
Yeah, it's a great series, and
going to Game 6 tonight as we film this on Thursday.
Yeah, no, so I will be watching this one. It's these guys, a lot of times there are no ticky-tack fouls in this league.
Not usually,
no. I know, because there's some people getting really smacked, and there's no foul called.
Huh? Oh, that, yes.
And so, you take a look and you just say, you really have to, especially if you're a frontliner, if you're rebounding, if you're in the middle and I don't care because they all go for rebounds. It is physical. It is a very, very dangerous sport with all those great big people in there, and they're amazing athletes. They really are. I'm going to continue watching the NBA series now because the games get really good, and
you're getting down to almost to the Final Four.
Almost down to the Final Four.
So
yeah.
Okay, so let's sit here and let's finish what you're thinking here. Golden State and LA. LA's up 3-2. Who wins it?
Well, LA's got to win tomorrow. Otherwise, that's over it.
We agree.
And so and even at that, I think they got to play the final game back up in
San Francisco. They do,
which is it's a tough place to win. Last game of the series.
Golden State has not been good on the road all season long.
No.
So that obviously with Game 6 being down at the new Forum, the old Staples Center or whatever. Yeah.
Curry has a way of influencing people's future plans, and it's just he gets in those grooves and. Hey Tim,
as he goes, so goes the Warriors.
He may be the greatest jump shooter I have ever seen, and it's just.
I don't think I can come up with a better one. I mean, there's other good ones. I mean, Larry Bird might say, "Hey, I was better," or et cetera, but
he's an amazing athlete, and it's good to see LeBron. He's given everything he's got. Now, I did hear about LeBron's kid. Baroni.
Signing with USC?
He's signing with USC. Now, what do you know about this guy?
They say he's the bomb. He's like his dad. Not is his dad, but like his dad. I mean, we're going to have the same height. I don't think he's only 17, so he can't be as thick as his dad is yet.
No.
I mean, that's not going to happen, but yeah, he'll be playing 1 year at USC, and then he'll come out.
They can have a father-son. Timo, are you kidding me?
I suppose it's possible. It could happen. It could be possible.
The way James is playing these days, he's not bad.
Okay, Denver and Phoenix is the other series out west. Denver's up 3-2, going to Phoenix tonight.
Well, of course, the first thing I caught is that my good friend Djokovic he grabbed the basketball away from the owner.
Yeah, I think the NBA did right. The owner shouldn't be grabbing the basketball and holding on to it.
Yeah.
Jokic probably didn't have to give him a little friendly shove with his forearm. They were both in the wrong. Technical foul on Jokic. Move on. That's what I feel.
Oh, absolutely. This is like, the best, the most. It was the first highlight that they showed. Here, how intense is this series going? Well, look at this, and it's like it's all part of the show. The difference between that and professional wrestling a lot of times, the show is the important thing. And right now, I'll tell you what, the NBA is really putting on a good one. These basketball players, they are tremendous. As a group, this is what you're watching here is the best in the world, and there's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the best that have ever played.
So who are you picking, Denver or Phoenix?
Well, I'm gonna go with Denver just because, well, I think they're the underdog, and but yeah, I'll go.
Boy,
with
now
Phoenix
they're the
in that one.
number 1 seed in the West. How the
Yeah.
heck can he be the underdog?
Because Phoenix always beats them at the end, but
Phoenix has got KD in the middle of the season,
They
and
have.
I think Phoenix still pulls this
I
out.
watched him. Yeah, they very well could. But I mean, again, here he is, 7 feet tall, and he's taking 35 footers. Well, you know, unless you got some kind of a hydraulic lift, you aren't even going to get close to this guy. You know, and he handles the ball like somebody that's 6'5". It's an amazing athlete.
If I remember right, Booker had 49 in the game the other night. Durant had 36. The next closest on their team had 7. So, as Booker and Durant go, so go the Phoenix Suns. I say the Phoenix Suns pull this out in 7 games.
Oh,
How about Phoenix against Golden State? Could be a lot of fun.
That could be a lot of fun. Right now, if Golden State gets past LA, they're going to be back in the groove again, and they're going to be on top, and you're going to have to come up to beat them.
All right, let's go back out east. Boston or Philly? It's the classic series. Where's Dr. J at?
He was sitting up in the booth,
I
man,
see
and,
what-
you know, when they went by, and they says, Julius. No, never mind that my wife's grandfather's name was Julius.
Oh.
That my son's middle name was Julius. They say, how did you name Robert after Julius? He says, Dr. J. And Sue gets so mad because she named him after her grandfather. But
I like the story about Dr. J better. No offense, Sue, but Dr. J, that's a better story.
yeah, it is. So, but he was up there. You know, I'm not quite sure how the series goes. Where do they play?
They are playing in Philadelphia tonight.
And this is
Game 6. And Philly's up 3-2.
Yeah, so well, it doesn't matter. Boston's got to win,
Boston's got to win.
and
Are they?
I don't know.
Because if it goes back to Boston, I mean, then, yeah,
I think Philadelphia's got a better team.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Philly wins it tonight, ends it. How about Miami and New York? The series that I don't think anybody except people in New York or Miami give a rip about.
No, and I don't think anybody would have predicted it either.
True.
It's but you know, I watched. Oh, I guess maybe a quarter of it, and Miami's got a pretty good basketball
They
team.
do.
And
They do.
You know, and they shoot and hustle and play the court,
And when things get down, Jimmy Butler takes over.
and Jimmy Butler takes over. He's not bad either.
Yeah, he's a pain in the tuchus, but he's pretty good.
Well, you know, it's just because
We like Jimmy when he played for the Wolves. We don't like Jimmy when he doesn't play for the Wolves. That's my policy.
Well, that's a good one. That'll work.
So who are you taking? Miami's up 3-2.
Oh, I'm
New
gonna-
York won last night.
I'm going to have to go with Miami because
The scary part about this is a number 8 and a number 7 could be playing in the conference finals. That's-
But, you know, isn't this what they wanted
That is
all along?
that is exactly what the NBA wanted.
wants, you know,
Yes,
so
yes, they
that
want. They don't want just the top 4 teams making it. I agree.
No.
It's there. So that means when the Timberwolves get up into the top half of the Western Conference, then the bottom teams are going to be beat them. So they've been in the bottom, and we can't beat the top. And then when they get to the top, they can't beat the bottom.
Well, I'm going to
Be
tell
still
you,
my
you know,
heart.
there's this. The Timberwolves have a lot of improving to do. There's no two ways about it, and everybody's kind of disappointed on them. But you know, I bring out the point that Gobert, for the first time in 6 years, was not picked for the NBA defensive team, and he had been
Rightfully
there
so.
forever. But you know, the thing of it is that should be a hard hill to conquer. What makes you think he should have had it, you know, without solid effort all the way? And what's the difference between a second place effort and a first place effort when it comes to NBA defense? A lot of them don't even play it. It's
Yeah, true.
You know,
Yeah.
and so when you see this going, I think that he's got to settle down a little bit and get reattached. I think Conley will help, but you know, bringing in some of this thing in, and
Putting
pulling
all the
that in.
things together.
Yeah. Again, I don't think Karl Anthony Towns is going to go anywhere unless somebody can come up with a really good idea. This might be the best group of basketball players, with maybe 1-2 exceptions, that they're going to piece together. They're going to have to work with what they have here.
Yeah, I agree. Let's talk hockey.
Oh,
Let's talk about the draft first. The Connor Bedard sweepstakes, as it's been known. They've been preparing for years. And whether you believe the conspiracy theories or not, Chicago won the lottery the other day, and they will get to draft Connor Bedard. That will be we thought that drafting Bryce Young first in the NFL draft for Carolina was a slam dunk. This is a no doubter. They might as well just, whoever's drafting to Anaheim, they can just start preparing who they're going to pick. Because I'll tell you what, if Connor Bedard's name is not announced, that might be the most improbable thing that has ever happened in the history of sports.
That's not going to happen.
No.
Unless there's a lot of money involved and a lot of something involved.
Could he pull a John Elway and say, "Look, you ain't got enough money to sign me"? So, no, they can't do that either.
No, there's so few John Elways.
Salary caps take that out of
They do.
out of play. No matter who you get drafted by, you're going to get about the same amount.
Kurt Flood didn't know the dam he was
opening.
Yeah. On the other hand, this is what an honest man can do.
Let's start out east. Florida taking on Toronto after Florida takes down the #1 overall seed, the gods, Boston Bruins. Florida just keeps doing it. They're up 3-1 on Toronto, although Toronto stayed alive last night. Is there any chance they could win 4 in a row?
I think the only time I saw Florida play, they were playing the Wild, I'm sure. And I thought, geez, these guys are pretty good, but they didn't seem to be outstanding. But when I watched them taking down the gods of hockey, as it were, they were zipping all over Boston, and it's just it was.
And the scary part about that was Boston was up 3-1.
Yeah.
And they let it slip away, and they lost twice in their own house.
Yep.
In their own barn, as they like to say in the hockey ranks.
That just shouldn't
happen.
No.
Shouldn't happen.
Not in the Garden. It shouldn't happen.
Not to the #1 overall team.
And they dominated. Not just won. They dominated all season long. So the question I have is, okay, so you play this cruel season, what, the 80-some games?
82 games.
And then from that you eliminate
half of the teams go away before you start the playoffs.
So half the teams go away, and you still have the other half.
Yeah.
Geez, there seems to be a long process to do there. It might be more efficient to do other ways, but that's all right. I know. Yeah, it is professional hockey.
It is professional.
And it's just like I say about basketball. This is a show that they're putting on, and they're putting it on, with the finest hockey players, that money can buy.
So can Toronto come back?
Tough.
No. Can't. No chance.
No.
The other series out east, Carolina and the New Jersey Devils. Carolina has looked fairly invincible through the first 4-5 games here. So any reason to think that Carolina won't pull it off?
Well, no. Once you get the ball rolling in that league, and it's this time of the playoffs, that motivation is big.
Well, the thing, I'll go back to the Florida series. Florida had won 6 in a row, the last 3 against Boston, the first 3 against Toronto, and then last night kind of came out and laid a stinker, for lack of a better term, although they had their chances. They only lost 2-1. Bobrovsky was out of his mind, the goaltender for Florida. So anyway, okay, so we agree Carolina wins, takes down New Jersey. Let's go out west where it's maybe more exciting. It's a little closer to home.
It is.
The Seattle Kraken, 2-2 after taking down Colorado. Maybe they take out the defending Stanley Cup champions.
What is this, their second year?
Second year.
They're doing.
The thing that's surprising me about that series is, yes, they won 4 games, but there were 4 games played in Denver, and they won 3 of the games in Denver.
Yeah.
So they went 3-1 in Denver in that series.
Well, then they started kicking it down towards the end of the season, and all of a sudden I started seeing the Kraken coming up with short wins and 1-0 and 2-0, and you figure, and that's the case, there's somebody playing goalie and there's somebody scoring enough goals for them to get by.
Yeah, they were in second place for a lot of the season. Had a little lull in February and early March, and then came back on at the end to make sure they made the playoffs. And right now they're 2-2 with Dallas. And
I'm pulling for the Kraken. I can't help it.
They're my favorite team now.
Yes. This is just like, and a hockey player one time asked me, "Do you know what the Kraken is?" I says, "Are you kidding? I took Latin class.
Of course I
learned
know.
about the Kraken. Release it. This is what the gods do when they're mad.
There you go. So you're picking Kraken over Dallas, even though we're going
that
back.
might be emotional, but that's okay. We'll go in with it anyway.
I'm okay with emotional on these
I
kinds of
I
things.
suppose.
Probably the series, I think that's going to go 7 because these two teams are both very good hockey teams. Vegas versus Edmonton. Edmonton wins at home last night, evens that series at 2. We're going back to Vegas. These are the top 2 teams in the Pacific Division.
I'll bet you that Vegas house gets a rocking game 5,
Yeah, well,
game
they
6.
got all that gambling money out there.
Gambling.
Yeah,
Oh.
gambling. So,
Gambling.
all right, it's a 3-game series. Edmonton, and here's how I'm going to put the spin on it. Whoever wins this series wins the Stanley Cup. Whoever wins between Edmonton and Vegas wins it all.
Yeah, I guess maybe I have no problem with that now, and I will.
I mean, there's going to be 3 other teams that are going to have something to say about
Out
that.
of those confinements, Edmonton's got some really good hockey players.
Edmonton can light it up in a hurry.
Yeah, they can. Yeah,
So you're taking Edmonton?
I'll pick Edmonton. Yeah.
I'm going Edmonton as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something about that team that you feel like they're finally, Edmonton fans are finally going to get it done. And of course, there was all this discussion about are we going to see the first Canadian team versus Canadian team in the Stanley Cup final since 1989, and Toronto just is peeing the bed, for lack of a better term. They just aren't getting it done.
I feel so bad for them. I really do.
You
I
do?
just I love Edmonton.
Toronto?
And I just like the Maple Leaf growing up was always, you like the Leafs, and
Fair enough.
and so, but hey, they just really can't get it back, can they?
No.
No. They're rough.
All right. Shall we move on to baseball?
Let's go with the baseball.
Let's talk about the Twins and their
Yes.
putrid, ugly batting averages and strikeout numbers, but they're almost leading the league in home runs.
Well, they're not only leading the league in home runs, they're leading the league.
Yeah,
And it's
man.
like I said, they got 20 wins. New York's got 21, and New York's at the bottom of their division, and the Twins are at the top. And so I guess we probably have just, I don't know, a lot harder competition.
There you go. That's what it is.
That's
Teams
what
are
it
more,
is.
yeah.
Yeah. So, they have to come around. Right now, Korea's getting booed. And,
But he got an RBI double last night.
Exactly. Max, man, the first 5-6 games he couldn't buy a ticket on the subway, and yesterday he won the game. Scored
Yeah.
3 times, couple of hits, a
Yeah.
dinger, and so let's see what they're doing. And
3-2 as we started taping this show. They were down going to the bottom of the 6th inning, I believe. So,
Will you guys take comments?
sure, we'll take a comment.
What do you think of Dallas Stars?
The Dallas Stars, you want to go back. You know what? This Heiskanen kid, the defenseman, I think is number 4. I love this guy. If we could get him, if we could get him out of Dallas, that'd be great.
Yeah.
To me, they're a bunch of flopping, dirty buggers for TV sakes. Off the air, I'd say something else, but they played the refs and the Wild to a T. They got everything that they wanted in that series.
They did.
The Wild laid down a little bit, I think. I'm not saying they packed it in, but I think they felt like maybe they were defeated, that they couldn't overcome it, and that's a bad sign. You come home for Game 6 and you hope that your team shows up better than that. But give Ottinger a lot of credit, the kid out of Lakeville. Played fabulously, and I think he's probably the main reason why the Wild got so frustrated is because they're like, we can't solve him. He's like a Rubik's Cube. What do we do to try to get by him? So,
That's what I was going to say.
yeah,
That
it just,
Ottinger,
yeah,
He's kept them in there so far.
yeah. So it was tough. Yeah.
No, they got, they don't want to win.
So, Twins, like I said, still in first place. And, the starting pitching has been phenomenal. We have just found out this morning that Tyler Mahle is done for the season. He is going to be having Tommy John surgery. They lied to us about how bad it was. Oh, it's just he needs a couple weeks off. Then pretty soon it was a month. Then it was 2 months. And now he won't pitch again probably till July of 24. So, that's a tough one. The Twins have replacement.
I got a bug in my
How
shirt.
did you get a bug in there,
Came
man?
up through my
got
neck.
so many muscles. The
Yeah.
shirt bulges out in places that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Twins, well, they'll just bring up Ober and whoever else, Varland, and they'll just keep chucking along.
And somebody I called in today, and they said that the Twins have having an error as well. You know that Miranda's no longer at third, and they still have to get a third baseman. We knew that going in.
Kyle Farmer will step in there.
Kyle Farmer will step in.
Went 1 for 3 yesterday.
Yeah.
Had a big home run in the game here today to tie it at 2. After getting his face busted up with that fastball back on April 12th.
You imagine stepping back in that box again?
You got to get your mind over the matter, right?
If you were a pitcher, would you be throwing them hot and high?
Yeah, trying to keep them off balance.
I just wonder.
So, somebody said to me this morning, Farmer misses 25 games because he got 4 teeth busted out, and the guy from Winnipeg or wherever he was from got cut, put 75 stitches in, and went out and played the next period. He says these baseball players are wimps.
Well, compared to hockey players, yeah, but they're a lot more.
Well, it's kind of hard to, with your teeth being, your mouth being wired shut, to kind of go compete.
He is so lucky he didn't get that jaw busted.
Boy, he's lucky he didn't get killed. How about?
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
So, anyway, good to have Kyle Farmer back. That will help.
Yes.
You're right about Correa. Correa's. You got to figure just by the law of averages, things are going to start going his way. Having said all that, they've moved Joey Gallo back out to right field with the return of Alex Kirilloff, who has looked good in his return. Hopefully he can stay healthy with that wrist. Here, Alex, I'm going to give you a little blessing via the podcast here. So,
Well, and Joey Gallo.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mr. Gallo, he's kind of a monster in that box with that bat.
Yeah.
Boy, he's got this 8-foot stride that just goes on forever, and when he gets behind that bat, that ball just dings, it just goes. I think he's a nice addition to this Twins, and he seemed to have a proper attitude and a good sense of humor, and seemed to be a nice young lad. I like him.
Well, I hope he can increase that batting average. I know we're going to have to take some strikeouts because that's part of the charm or whatever that you got to take with Joey Gallo. He's going to get some strikeouts and he's going to hit some balls a long ways. I want to go back to the starting pitching discussion just for a second, if you might, because I want to get your thoughts on this because this has been bugging me now.
Yeah.
So we know we got Kenta Maeda back, coming off Tommy John surgery. Okay, he's on the injured list. Tyler Mahle onto the injured list because of now going on to Tommy John surgery. Everybody has been complaining, and we know who we are, all of us, that Rocco Baldelli keeps pulling these pitchers before the 7th inning. He won't let these guys go, and blah, 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 and now he's letting them go, and now we've lost one starting pitcher for over a year, and we don't know where Kenta Maeda is at because they're not saying anything about how his arm is at. So are we, have we asked for our own and he got it kicked right in the...
Mahle only had, as I recall, 1 start. Maybe 2, and he didn't go the second start very long.
Well, he ended up with 7 starts, I believe.
Did he 7 starts?
7 starts, I believe. 6 or 7 starts it was.
Okay.
So Maeda was the one who was short on the starts because they kept skipping him. But so I just wonder if we didn't get what we asked for, and then Rocco's going to come to the podium some here night in like mid-July when he's down to 4 starting pitchers, and we're bitching that he needs more. Whoops, you may have to cut that out. And we need more starting pitching. And guys, you wanted me to run these guys a little bit longer. Now you got what you asked for. What do you got to say? You guys start talking. So anyway,
undercover cop, I'm sure.
So anyway, that's where I'm at. I don't know. I think we wanted it and we got it, and we're going to end up paying the price.
Well, we very well could be. I'd like to see the pitching staff hold together a little bit better, and I do think that pitchers can go past the 7th inning. Maybe not much past the 7th inning, but they can certainly go past 5. You kind of have to stretch them out a little bit, and maybe I'm kind of the old timer. I mean, Warren Spahn went 14 innings when he was 41 years old.
But he did that every 4th day. These guys aren't doing that every 5th day. They're doing it on occasion. And
I just wanted none of them are Warren Spahn.
They are not Warren Spahn. That is for sure. I agree. So
hey, listen. Are we done with that stuff here a little bit?
Are we done with that stuff?
Yeah. I want to pay. We got to put on the obit for Joe Kapp.
Of course we do.
And it's just like, and I think you told me this, but I kind of just realized it. He played in the Rose Bowl, the Grey Cup Bowl, and the Super Bowl, and he's the only player to ever do
Only
that.
quarterback to ever
play
take a team as the starting quarterback to those 3 games.
to those 3 games.
That's
You know,
it's not easy to do those 3 things.
You know, you heard stories about him because I was like 21, and all of a sudden, Cap comes in. He's got this big scar across the cheek that he actually got in a bar fight, and he's this rumbly, tumbly, nasty-looking human being. He was about 6'2" and 230 pounds. He was no small man. And they're playing Cleveland in the NFL championship game before they played Kansas City in the Super Bowl. And he's taking the ball down the sidelines, and a linebacker's going to pinch him in. And old Joe Cap kind of drove right through him and hit this guy in the shoulder and the head and kept on rumbling down the sidelines. And the linebacker, and it was a good-sized lad, stayed there on the ground. He couldn't. He was a little shaken.
Sure.
But Joe Cap, he did not avoid getting hit. He initiated the contact. And when you see guys like this, he was more like when he ran the ball, he looked like a pulling guard really drilling somebody. He was that much fun to watch. And he's suffered from dementia the last 10, 12 years and has had to do some other things. But in terms of a quarterback and a football character, they didn't come any better than Joe Cap. They just did not.
Yeah, I don't mean to make you feel old or anything, but
Yeah.
Joe Capps was the quarterback right at the time I was born. So all I get to see is Joe Cap on like reruns every once in a while.
Well, yeah, catch those.
Number 11, right?
Yeah, I believe that's. Yeah,
So.
he hammered some people, yeah, that was one of the comments I had to make. I'm not even going to get into the NFL draft choices because I tell you, talk about. I think they might have done all right with the wide receiver, and who knows about the cornerbacks, defensive backs. But talk about this is nothing to write home about. And the final thing, and I do this every year. This week was Westminster Dog Show. The winner was a PBGV.
What the heck is that?
You don't know what a PBGV is?
I thought when I heard it on the news, and not on the sports now,
Yeah.
on the news, and they said, say it again,
PBGV.
a PBGV.
A PBGV, yes. That's a Petit Basset Griffon Vendée.
See, I thought it was all a joke at first because I thought they were pulling my leg with a PBGV.
This dog is just hot. His name is...
It's a hot dog? Come on.
His name is Buddy Holly.
Yeah, I like that. I
Buddy
dig
Holly.
that.
And then there was a Pekingese that was runner-up, and she's Rum Dum, or they call her Rummy. Anyway,
Okay.
but these dogs, and you know, because they got some incredibly beautiful dogs there. These big husky, save your life, run down your duck. Not this Pekingese.
Yeah.
It was really fun to watch. I watched a couple of the trainers that one was 8 years old, and she's showing her dog at Westminster, and it's her dog.
Wow.
It's the family dog, and she's showing this dog, and it's just...
Not too shabby.
No, it isn't. These kids get an awful lot out of that.
Okay.
So let me see. I don't think my notes... no, it's...
I want to talk about Denny Crum passing away.
Danny Crum, boy.
Was
I'll
the
tell ya.
head basketball coach at Louisville. He
Louisville.
was 86, passed away on Tuesday.
Yeah.
A couple of national championships. I think 6 Final Four trips. When I think of Louisville basketball, Danny Crum. That's who I think of.
No,
I don't think of
I agree.
Patino and all the other and everything else that's ever happened with Louisville. It's Denny Crum. That is just like when you think of DePaul, you think of Ron Meyer. That's just the way it is, right?
You know, you don't know who these people are or what they do, but when you see them on the sidelines, you pick up a lot of their nature. And Denny Crum never lost control.
No.
He was always coaching. He was always looking, see what was going on. I'd never seen a rant, a rave, in-your-face type thing with him. No, he was very good, and I think his players responded to that type of coaching like most players do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, great coach.
Yeah.
Want to talk about U of M softball?
Boy, oh boy, oh boy! They are whacking the heck out of the ball. and they got pretty good pitching,
Did
too.
you watch today's game at all?
No.
See, I took some time and watched
Yeah.
today. They had to go to extra innings. and they won it in walk-off style in the bottom of the 8th, 3-2 over Ohio State. So they are into the Big Ten semifinals. They've won 12 in a row.
Yeah.
And they will take on either Indiana or Northwestern on Friday in the semis.
So
Excuse me, Indiana or Penn State. Sorry.
Pitching, right?
It's Pease.
Pease
Yeah,
is-
Autumn Pease. She's dialed in. She did give up a 2-run ding dong to the number 9 hitter in the order, which is sacrilege, but it happens.
Oh, it does.
So Gophers definitely into the tournament, which will start here in about a week or so. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that all plays out, where they get seeded. Maybe they can make another. Maybe they can make another super regional. It would be fun to see them make it that far.
It would. And who knows? Maybe they can. They got a lot of things going down there right now. I think Gopher softball is one of the real hot programs.
It is.
Yeah.
Gopher baseball, they beat Michigan twice last
They
week.
did.
Huh?
I
Huh?
saw that. Yeah. And they couldn't buy a win here a year or so ago, but they seem to be piecing it a good.
Yeah,
season
they're
together.
coming together. Looks like they will make the tournament. It's going to be close.
Yeah.
They've got a week or so, 2 weekends left in the regular season, and then we'll see where they pan out, where they lie, and see where things are at. But that's they seem to be playing better baseball lately, which is what I think we can ask for.
Because
they-
for the last couple of years, it hasn't been so good.
Has not been so good.
No.
I want to mention Abby Hutchinson.
Yes.
While we've got an opportunity. Abby Hutchinson, known for her long distance running, made it to the state cross country meet, good 3,200 meter runner, takes in all the 5Ks in town, she wins them all, etc., etc. So, as she explained last week on Coach's Corner, she made a bet with one of her teammates. She said to her teammate who ran the short distances, if you come run a mile, if you go run the mile, I'll go run the 300 hurdles. Fair enough.
And what happened?
So Diane Lavoie went and joined cross country, so she's got her miles in. So Abby at the first outdoor meet said, I guess I'm running the 300 meters. Well, she came within just under a second of the school record in her first time running the event for real in a competition, and then last week broke the record by just over a half a second. So congratulations to Abby breaking the 34-year record of Camille Anderson.
Oh boy.
And we'll see what she does with it.
So what year is she?
She's a junior.
Okay.
So lots of time to
Very
improve.
good.
They say she jumps like Mario, and I said, what does jumping like Mario mean? And they means she jumps like this.
Yeah.
Well, she needs to jump like this.
And that takes a long time to do what she's accomplished in her first few races is quite amazing. Because
So she said, I did a couple of these kinds of jumps when she broke the record. And she said, so think about that. There's 8 hurdles. If you do 8 of them that
Yeah.
way, what can happen?
yeah, she's just beginning. She could get very, very good at this.
So we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah.
And of course, she runs the 3,200 meter run, which comes just moments after the completion of the 300 hurdles. And so she's just using kind of as a warm up to the 3,200 meter run.
So where's the region track meet this year?
That will be at UMD.
Rah rah UMD.
Rah rah, go Bulldogs.
Yeah.
So the Bulldog women's softball team is playing in the Central Regional today. They are the number 7 seed. So good luck to them. Did you watch the Kentucky Derby on Saturday?
I have to admit I did, and in fact,
You make it sound like it was a bad thing.
well, no, but Sue was pretty upset over some of the tragedies that they've been having, and we had just gone through Lexington that week, and
Yeah.
and you can tell it was Derby week. I mean, there's
There's a little excitement.
There's a lot of activity going around, and when you go up and down the Appalachian Mountain, there are horse ranches all through there, and horse ranches and bourbon distilleries. But that's basically the size.
Gambling and booze, folks. That's where it all lies.
You
Anyway.
know, no, I got a call from my son-in-law, and he says, I have it all on computer. Do you guys want to make a bet? Because last year there was at 81 to bet.
80 to 1,
80 to 1, and I said to Sue, just take $100 and put it under. What we got to lose? Of course, the guy won, and so my son-in-law wanting me to forego another chance. So Sue picked the 31 because there were not very many long shots in this one, and so she picked the horse, and they all made it around safely, and it's kind of a brutal sport for the horses.
Well, and the scary part is, we watch sports.
Yeah,
and people are getting injured all the time. But
They
it's
are.
a different animal. It's a different animal, literally.
That-
we don't put the humans down when they blow a knee. We fix them up.
Yeah.
And when we've got a horse, you just can't do that
You
stuff
just can't do that.
that we do with our humans. So yeah, I get it. I understand it. I understand it's a tragedy, but it's a different. They're athletes.
They are
to a certain extent, and so
I worked with a guy one time from Kentucky, and he said, and I was questioning the very, nature of that. And he says, George, these horses are beautiful. They're very fast. They're not at all intelligent. They were bred to do this.
to run.
That's all they were.
What they
bred.
do.
And when you see them out there in the field, they are incredibly beautiful. There's no two ways about it. So, but they've been bred. This is whether this would have ever happened in nature is hard to say. But it's quite amazing sports. And the hat wear, Tim. The hat wear. And the other thing I did, because this was early in that morning, I made myself a light mint julep because we had to do the blues show that night, and I couldn't be full of mint julep going to do the blues show. I have a tendency to cry in the sad songs. So, it's quite a tradition, and but I feel bad for the horses. There's some other tracks have been having a difficult time with it, and it's something they're going to have to work out. The one thing that people always told me about, these are the race of the 2-year-olds, and the 3-year-olds, maybe they would just have one more year to mature, and
Interesting
so,
thought.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
Anything else?
I can't think of anything.
I'm sure we probably could sit here and banter and keep going on forever and ever, but there's lots of stuff going on out there, and we appreciate your patience for our length of
I
absence.
know. I'm absolutely amazed. There's people out there that watch us. Thank you very much for doing that.
We'll talk to you next week. Thanks, everybody.